Celestial rising, divine afternoon, and grand night to the beautiful deity watching this video. It's your divine reflection, divine messenger, and we are back with another message and understand. Before we even get into this, make sure, actually, if you choose to, if you enjoy these videos, if you like them and you want more topics for me to cover, if you have more questions for me to answer for you through these videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you choose to. Now, if you don't, that's fine as well. But if you like these videos, we can push them into the algorithm. So stop gatekeeping the videos. And if you want other people to join our family, go ahead and put it into the algorithm by liking it. And with this, we're going to talk about sexual trauma today. And, we're not going to go too deep into it, but we'll go deep into it as well. Because I want people to understand that you have to be able to heal from the trauma that you are hiding from whenever you are traumatized by sexual pleasures or desires, which is exactly why I recommend all men and women practice abstinence control, ejaculation control, or as you would call it, semen retention. And the thing is, it's very important to retain this energy so that you can put it and bring it to fruition for your desires, for your goals, and so where you can figure out how to grow up into your higher self and stop being a little boy or a little girl and being submissive to your urges that don't need to be edged on for a temporary sensation, basically. But in my Discord, we have Rain, and Rain in the Discord wanted me to cover this topic. So if you want to join my Discord and you want to connect with our community as well, because we are the Awakened community, by all means do so. The Discord is in the chat as well, or actually not in the chat, but link into my description as well if you want to get into that. But it's basically that chat to help you become a better you, and we all connect there. And that's when I post like my Patreon stuff, just different videos, different topics, and I just chat with the people as well. Not all day, but whenever I have time, I make sure I do that. But let's get into it. At Divine Messenger, I would like to hear you speak upon healing sexual trauma, especially given that many of your viewers are former porn addicts and were born slaves in this hyper-sexualized society. I've been wanting to, I'm not going to say born slaves, but I would say that they were born in a slave mindset. But there are no such thing as slaves, but we are practicing being a slave, I would say that. I've been wanting to make a video attacking the subject specifically in regards to sexual trauma's effects on attachments and relationships and how they continuously repeat themselves when not acknowledged. The problem is that I'm just now beginning to gain the courage to acknowledge my own, as I've noticed it re-manifest into my unconscious actions. But definitely let to hear your assertions on said topics. All right, let's get into this. Okay, so I have a little description as well that I decided to put down to somebody out there who doesn't know what sexual trauma is. So we're going to break that down, and then I have 5 key points for you to be able to heal yourself through this trauma. Sexual trauma disrupts the sacred flow of life force energy, severing the connection between the body or severing between the body, mind, and spirit. It imprints wounds deep within the psyche, manifesting as fear, shame, or distorted attachments. Healing this trauma requires the consciousness reclaiming of power and alchemical transformation of pain into wisdom, and the reawakening of one's divine essence, which can restore the balance into relationships and self-love. Meaning that when you are going through this phase of sexual trauma, it's going to hurt. It's going to harm you because, for one, you're understanding that you want to better yourself by not having sex with people who don't care about you. By you doing that, you're healing the mind from submitting to the same exact pattern that you spiritually want to escape from. But the thing is, though, people are too busy wanting that temporary satisfaction to not to heal their ego, but to boost their ego, to feel validated into practicing a ritual that should be sacred. But some people are so used to giving their energy to people who don't care about them. That's all they know, meaning that they have been doing that for so. And the thing is, too, some people are not. They weren't like pushing to being sexual. Some people were, of course, taken advantage of, assaulted. The list goes on and on. So unfortunately, they were put into that predicament. But for you, you know that you are in this situation to where you want to feel better for yourself, and that you don't want to just have sex with people just because it feels good. No, you want to feel better spiritually with somebody that can please you, not only physically, but mentally as well, because sex involves the mind. So like foreplay, it involves the mind before you physically begin to start coming to your senses. Number 1, repeating trauma in relationships. Unhealed sexual trauma will recreate itself in toxic attachment patterns. The first step is recognizing that these cycles are reflections of unaddressed wounds seeking healing. literally. And then I have 5 key points underneath that as well. So number 1, attracting emotionally unavailable partners. Unhealed trauma will lead you to repeatedly choose partners who mirror feelings of abandonment or neglect. Literally, meaning that if you are not wanting to heal yourself, you're not wanting to retain your energy, you are going to put yourself in a situation to where somebody will abandon you or neglect you once they are done having sex with you, which is exactly why you have to make sure that you do not attract yourself to people who don't have emotional intelligence. You have to want to make sure you align yourself with somebody who is divine just like you. By you doing that, you got to make sure that if you are not in tune with your emotions, do not seek somebody that can uplift your emotions when they can't uplift their own emotions as well. You have to want to do that shit on your own. You have to want to heal yourself through your own accord and not follow somebody else's lead when they can't heal themselves as well. Clinging to toxic relationships. Fear of being alone will cause you to stay in unhealthy dynamics, searching for validation from others rather than healing yourself. The thing is too, people who fear being alone, once again, they will, so that's the thing too, that's the problem with some people. Many people will be in like a abusive relationship, and because of that, they will stay because, for one, some people are actually attached to that person because of their history. Not only that, some people fear being alone with themselves. Not only that, their lower self and their higher self, because they hate hearing their thoughts. Because of that, they always have to be around somebody. They always text you saying, hey, I'm lonely, what you doing? Can you come over? This and that. And the thing is too, I relate to that as well, which is exactly why I had to retain my energy, because it's like you only want my energy when you're lonely. But regardless, you don't ever hit me up for anything else, because we don't have nothing to talk about, because you're not on the same exact enlightenment that I'm on as well. Because of that, people who only want to be with you when they're lonely, you have to cut them off, because they are clinging to the old patterns that they used to be accustomed to. So before you met them, they had other partners that they were sexually active with, and then once they left them and like abandoned them, then that's when they approached you, or you approached them, and then now they're doing the exact same pattern that they try to run away from. But now that they're so used to being comfortable with you, they're going to want to find healing through you, but they can't heal themselves through you, because you can't heal yourself through yourself. So if you can't heal yourself, they can't find healing within themselves as well. Meaning that now you are basically going to live in a toxic situation to where you both will unconsciously be comfortable living in it together. The third one, overdependence on validation. Trauma does manifest as needing constant reassurance and creating imbalance and insecurity in relationships as well. Meaning that you can be chilling, you can be playing a game, somebody can be calling you. And the thing is too, you can have a best friend if you choose to, but some people hate that you have a best friend that's a girl or a man. But somebody can be calling you, and a person that sees the phone ringing, they'll be like, that's one of your hoes, that's one of your men, that's one of your girls, whatever. I'm about to sneeze. So because of that, bless me, because of that, they will decide to be like, you know what? I don't want to fuck with you no more, because you got people calling you, texting you all times of the day or even at night. And that's when insecurity comes in. Even when you go to the club or you just go out in public or something like that, somebody can be talking to you or staring at you. Someone who does not know how to heal themselves or who needs constant reassurance, you can be at the grocery store, for example, getting some bread, getting some whatever, getting drinks, water, whatever. A woman can approach you, or a man can approach you. If your partner is insecure, they may not say it to you in that moment, but when you guys go to the car, so who is that? Man, it ain't nobody, it's not nobody important. Now the thing is too, they could be asking because they may feel something spiritually that you're not telling them physically. But sometimes you are projecting what you don't know onto your partner. And the thing is too, that is your fault if you're going that negative route, or if you're going to that negative mindset to figure out who that person is. Because the thing is, some people are just friendly to the partner that you are with. Not only that, when your energy is vibrating high, some people want to talk to you just because they feel that energy and they need to resonate with that. But if your partner needs constant reassurance, then to me, they need their ego to be validated. So you can be out all day. Hey, where you been? You ain't been home all day. You ain't text me all day. You ain't call me all day. You out there cheating? Man, I knew you was cheating. I don't want to talk to you no more. They block you, whatever. It's just like, my nigga, what the hell's going on? I'm out here exercising. I'm out here making videos. I'm out here constantly getting better for myself, and you're out here assuming that I'm cheating on you. That's how you know that you're cheating on me, because for one, you are basically doing, to me, if somebody does that to me, I feel as if you are basically indicating to yourself that you don't want to really be with me. You're just doing it because you're lonely. So because of that, if you assume that I'm cheating, then that means that you're going to believe your assumptions. You're going to lie to yourself, create scenarios, and then when I give you validation, you're going to lie about this validation towards yourself, and then you're going to go against what I said, and then you'll go behind my back and cheat on me because you know that, you know what, I don't want to be with you for real, for real. Like, I enjoy you, but I don't believe what you say because I'm used to being, I'm so accustomed to being lied to, I can't believe your words. Not knowing that you actually are being honest, but you have no proof of that. So they'll go and leave you. The next one, fear of intimacy. Unresolved trauma leads you to pushing partners away when closeness triggers unresolved pain. And I just covered that as well. But the thing is, so fear of being intimate with somebody, because it's like the days are going good. Every day is a good thing. Every day is a good day, basically. You have good things going on, great conversations. You got laughs, hugs, kisses. The sex is good. The dates are good. All that is good. But then after a certain while, as months and years go down the line, some people fear how deep that love goes because they're afraid of being hurt. So if that love gets too deep within that situation that you're in, they'll push you away because they fear that, man, look, this is becoming so euphoric that it's too good to be true. So I'm going to create a fake or a false scenario to where I'm going to push you away because I want to make sure that the love I have for you and I does not become brokenhearted. Because of that, I love myself so much that I had to push you away so that I don't get my heart broken once again like I did in the past. Because they're so fixated on the past situation currently with you that they'll project that past trauma onto you currently to where they'll not only hurt you, but they'll hurt themselves hurting you. I'm going to say it again. By them worrying about the past, they will not only hurt you, but they will hurt themselves by hurting you, by allowing themselves to be hurt from the past situation that never existed in the first place. Then the last one, reenacting abuse cycles. You probably might unconsciously replicate abusive scenarios, and this can recreate the same pain you experience until the trauma is addressed. Literally. So I like that too. Okay, so now, a lot of times too, our partners that we are in love with, whatever the case may be, they will want to reenact an abusive scenario. So arguing, physically hitting, being mentally abusive, spiritually abusive, all of that. And the thing is too, if you are the person watching this going through that scenario right now, you have to be able to become conscious of that moment immediately. That's exactly why you have to be masculine and stop that shit immediately. To my woman out there, you have to put your foot down and say, hey, look, you're not gonna keep on beating up on me and shit like that. Like, I need you to get your shit out of here, get your mind together and go be somewhere else, because what you're doing right now is hurting me. And by you hurting me, I'm allowing the hurt to hurt myself to where I can't build for my future because I'm too fixated on the love I have for you through yourself. Because of that, we can't be together no more. And the thing is too, when they reenact these cycles, if you are not attacking the cycle immediately, you will allow this cycle to keep repeating every single day to the point where you'll be trapped. And if you're trapped in an abusive cycle, it's hard for you to escape that cycle because it's all you know. You sleep in it, you lie in it, and then when you allow it, because the thing is too, some abusers, I should have brought some water too. Some abusers, they will allow themselves, like they will do this thing to where they'll buy you things, they'll promise you things, they'll take you out, they'll promise you so many lies that you believe them through your truth. And if you can't decipher the truth from fiction, you will be comfortable living in a fallacy and you call it reality. And then once this person has his carrot over your head, you have nowhere to escape from, because who are you going to call? You call people about this problem. They told you your solution. You ignored them. And so now you expect them to help you again? No. That's not how this shit works. All right, number 2. Courage to acknowledge. True healing begins when we face the trauma instead of suppressing it. Acknowledgement brings awareness, which starts the process of freeing the soul from the past. Literally. So the thing is, do not suppress your trauma. I was trying to go over that again so I can bring it back for the breakdown. But do not suppress your trauma, because you have to be aware of what you're going through. And trauma can be whatever it is sexually. But you have to understand that when you first started going down that scenario sexually, that's not what you call love. You were just feeling dopamine for a temporary period of time to feed your ego. And that's not what sex really is to some people, but it's supposed to be made out of a form of love. Because of that, you have to free your soul from that cycle that you went through in the past, which is exactly why you have to be courageous to acknowledge your sexual trauma. Meaning that every single day you have to be able to look into the mirror and say to yourself, you know what? It's okay with what you went through. You went through that because you had to build for a better you. Not only that, if you had kids, friends, siblings, family, whatever, you have to be able to go through that phase of trauma to where if somebody that you know goes through that, you can help guide them and inspire them. Even people on social media or in real life, you can help people that are going through what you went through because you had went through the shadow work behind closed doors. Not only that, you had the courage to stand up for yourself and what you went through because you weren't afraid to put your foot down. You weren't afraid to say, you know what, I have an issue, a sexual issue. Therefore, because you were so traumatized, because you were so accustomed to living in that trauma and loving it, you now have severed that bond and you said, no, I want to stand up for myself. And now I'm going to transmute that energy. So number 3, energy transmutation. Sexual trauma holds intense energy within the lower realm of our body. But when accepted, it can be transformed into personal power. What once caused you pain and suffering can lead to growth and empowerment. Self-love breaks the cycle of this trauma. Oh, what the hell? My bad. That was the next one, my bad. So, what once caused you pain and suffering can lead to growth and empowerment. I went to number 4, my fault. But yeah, the most important thing to me was what once caused you pain and suffering can lead to growth and empowerment. I already covered that too, but when you transform the sexual desire, you had to transmute that energy. So basically right now, by me retaining my energy, it is 9:36 a.m. I've been up since 2 a.m. I have so much energy from retaining my seed that I am willing to post content whenever I want to because I enjoy this stuff. Because I could go lay with a woman right now. I could be chilling, caked up. I could be masturbating. I could be asleep. But no, I say, you know what? I have a job to do. I have a mission to fulfill. Because of that, I'm going to send my energy to my mindset. Meaning that the lower part of me, my ego, wants to have sex. It wants to have fun. It wants to get pleased. But I know that spiritually, if I have a mission to do, if I have goals to accomplish, if I have a lifestyle that I want to be a part of or an empire that I want to build, I have to put that energy that I want sexually to the side because sex will always be there. But my experience right now can be gone today, even in an hour or tomorrow. I have no time to waste, meaning that every day I have to make it count by working hard for my goals and my purpose. And then by doing that, going through that pain that you went through sexually is going to help you realize that the pain that you went through, the trauma that you went through, was meant for you to grow and encourage yourself through a growth phase that you're going to be empowered by. Once you are empowered by that phase that you are harming yourself in, you'll be able to realize that, you know what, you weren't really harming yourself. It was your ego harming you, because you got to understand too that as you are born, your ego is programmed to be accustomed to predictive programming, basically. And on top of that, you're going to submit to your ego because it's all you knew. It's all you grew up into. So spiritually, your spirit's trying to help you realize that you are more than what your ego is perceiving you to see. Once you decide to transmute that energy, now you're going to be able to do things outside of lust, because you're not letting lust put you in a chokehold anymore. I'm about to sneeze again. But yeah, you won't let lust put you in a chokehold anymore, because now you are doing things for the betterment of your future currently. And because of that, this intense energy you will relapse a lot of times, you will fail, and you'll make mistakes, and you may go back to a succubus or incubus. But you have to begin to sit there with yourself and allow those mistakes or allow those practices or habits to pass by. Everything is divine timing. When you do that, divine timing will show you that every time you make a mistake through your habits unconsciously, especially through sex, now you have self-love for yourself when you become aware of your actions. That's the key. You have to be aware of your sexual actions when you're going through them, because if you want better for yourself, awareness will tell you that, you know what, I want to empower myself. I should not lay with you, because for one, Your ego is basically projecting to you saying that, okay, I'm having sex right now and I want a baby. But yet when you're pulling out or when you're just busting in her and she has birth control and she doesn't have a baby from you, you're basically saying to yourself that I don't want a kid from you, but I just want the practice of sex to feel good for the moment because I'm bored or because I want to do something out of boredom. When you stop and you think to yourself, you know what, we can just be, actually no, fuck a friend, right? Because I want a wife. But when you say to yourself, no, I want to be better. I want to become a better me. I want to become my higher self. Now you become practicing self-love by breaking the cycle of this trauma. So healing requires deep self-love. When you nurture your worth from within, attachments become healthier and trauma loses its grip on your relationships and your mindset. And that's the thing too. Self-love, you have to go within. By going within, you have to go without sex. Literally, I'm gonna say it again. By having self-love, you have to go within to love yourself from your mistakes, your trauma, your habits, your patterns, the cycle of love that you think is love when it's not really love, but it's lust that you think you love per se. When you love yourself through that process, now you are going within to go without sex because you don't really need sex for real. Especially if you're single. If you are single, the best thing that you can do is retain your energy, literally. And the thing is to go months, go years without it. When you go months and years without it, imagine how much attraction you are bringing towards your lifestyle. Everything that you pray for, you meditate on, is going to come right into your face because you came to your senses now. You did without sex. Not only that, the holographic simulator that is the creator of our creators literally is watching you stay disciplined. So if you're disciplined to not submitting to your urges in the demonic realm, what makes you think that our angel won't give you angelic frequencies to live in? What makes you think that our angelic frequency won't pass down divinity and your own fruition that you're practicing through the fruits of your labor? You're working hard every day to be a better you. It's going to be hard to retain your energy, duh, especially when you look good. So when you look good, it's the fact that you're saying to yourself, you know what? I am going to retain my energy. I love myself. I love myself so much that I'm not going to throw my body at people who look good. Oh, she has a nice looking body. She has a nice looking face or whatever. Or if you think he looks good or whatever, don't become weak through your vessel or your ego. Just because you have a great conversation does not mean that you have to have sex with them, because you're not doing yourself any good. All you're doing is you're getting their DNA as they bust inside of you or outside of you. But all you're doing is swapping DNA, and then you're going to practice their habits that they were practicing unconsciously. So you are following a programmed deity or a succubus or incubus. So you are following a sentient program sent to knock you off of course. But when you love yourself, you can't be knocked off of course. When you love yourself, you can't be knocked off of your course because you are focused into your spiritual journey. By you doing that, you know that physically, Lucifer will send satanic forces at your doorstep. Hey, we're in. Can we come inside, please? And then some people are so unconscious, they'll say, yeah, man, come on in, bro. You look just like me, man. I love you so much. Come on in. I got you. Not knowing that they were sent by a higher order to knock down your higher order. And lastly, trauma as it guides you into your spiritual awakening. Sexual trauma, it is painful, depressing, and manipulative, can be a doorway to a spiritual awakening. It will force you to confront your deepest fears, leading into growth and higher awareness for what you will and will not tolerate. Woo! Gesundheit. That means health in German. Now, trauma, I relate to that as well, so I put it down there. And that's not in the teaching, by the way. But trauma can lead you into a spiritual awakening. On top of that, there is not just one spiritual awakening, by the way. You can spiritually awaken every single day, even when you go to bed, even when you wake up out of bed as well. Every day when you are retaining your energy, when you are meditating, when you are journaling, when you are saying affirmations, when you're grounding, when you're eating healthy, fasting, you are going into a higher process of your spiritual awakening. Not only that, the sexual trauma that you are going through is helping you understand how deep the spell of spellcasters actually gets. Not only that, the mind is so complex too, because this shit does get deep. And I don't want to make it sound weird either, but some people like being assaulted. There's some people who like being touched on. There's some people who like being molested. Sadly, there's some people who like getting aped. Sadly. So when you understand that, that's not normal. On top of that, your mind needs to get studied if you enjoy that type of, yeah, I don't know what to call that shit. Like, there's no title I can put on that, because it's just basically sick. But when you heal your mindset from being sick or being programmed by sick beings, you got to understand that too. The people that projected their sexual trauma onto you, they were programmed by other deities that were sexually traumatized as well. So it's a cycle, or the circle of life, through Leviathan spell casting. Because of that, you have to be aware of what you are feeding your program through the sexual phases of your practices. When you do that, you are now more aware of what you, or who you sleep with. And before you sleep with them, you are going to say to yourself, why should I sleep with you? And then on top of that, what do I gain from sleeping with you? Nothing per se, because if you don't see them as a wife or a husband, why be with them? For a temporary period of time to have fun? Yeah, we want to have fun, we want to live life. Yeah, that's cool and all that. You can die tomorrow, whatever. But it's like, that mentality is just so, it's degenerate. It's an excuse to want to sleep around. On top of that, if you keep sleeping around, you're going to basically get yourself sick. And you may have diseases, STDs, you may have HIV, AIDS, herpes, chlamydia, gonorrhea, all of that. And then when you had that, now you're really down in the dumps. You're really depressed and sad, and you may commit suicide because you were so busy getting busy sexually. Somebody placed a spell on your mind. So now you got herpes on your lips, you got gonorrhea, you got HIV, you got the clap. Now you over here sad and mad, and then now you killed yourself. So by you doing that, you have to be able to say to yourself, man, I think I'm great without sex, because you actually are. And the thing is too, like I said earlier, sexual energy will always be there for you. The practice of sex will always be there in your face. Literally, it's everywhere. It's sold for free. Porn is made for free, sadly. Bestiality is on the internet for free. You can access sex trafficking on the internet in your face, on your phone, even on your game system as well. On top of that, our generation right now is so sexualized that all they know is sex because they were born into that. On top of that, we are born into lust as well. That's exactly why you have to be able to forgive your parents for what they did to you. Now that you are here, do not follow in your parents' footsteps, because for one, a lot of them had sex out of wedlock, meaning that a lot of these kids out here who are raised out of lust and they are abandoned and neglected because of their parents' unconscious practices or their unhealed phase that they're living in. These kids will project their hurt onto society, to where now we got to coach them, we got to teach them, we got to guide them. And then when they don't want that healing or that guidance, they start killing people, they start snitching, they start robbing, they start talking back, they start fighting. It's just a negative program that we have to live into, which is exactly why no matter where you are, there are people who are actually abused sexually, and you have to coexist with them. But the thing is too, though, people are just hurt, seeking validation to heal themselves that they can't heal. Actually, no, fuck that. People are seeking validation for their ego because spiritually they cannot articulate their hurt. So because they can't, they're projecting their hurt so that somebody who is spiritually enlightened can tell them about themselves. So that when somebody tells them about themselves, that's when they'll say to themselves, damn, you are right. Now I can reflect on what I went through. And then when you can tell them about their life through your perception, they will be inspired by your introspection. Once you're able to do that, now you are, for one, you are far beyond the average person now. On top of that, 99% of society is accustomed to just loving sex because that's all they are used to living in and practicing. But once you retain your energy, once you focus on a better you, and then once you find a purpose for yourself and you practice it and you work on it every single day, now the universe will grant you anything that you want, because you have to hear yourself every single day. It's a process, and it will be hard. It will be hurtful. It'll be sad. You'll have days where you're mad. It'll be lonely. But the thing is, though, even though you are lonely, you are never alone. I'm gonna say it again as well. Even though you feel lonely, you are never alone. The Almighty is always walking with you. Your spiritual guides are always walking with you. On top of that, You have to be able to sit with your thoughts. Because when your ego is projecting what you went through, it's your spiritual self telling you, hey, that scenario that you went through was in the past. It never really happened, but you were dreaming that it happened. It never happened, but you were dreaming that it happened. It never happened, but you were dreaming that it happened. Because you were dreaming that it happened, you were creating a fallacy that you wanted to live in comfortably. Because you got comfortable living in it, you allowed this demonic force to lay with you, to take your energy, to not only harvest it, but to alchemize it and to use it to benefit their ego. And that's your fault because you weren't aware of the trauma that you are practicing unconsciously. When you have self-love, nobody can tell you how to love yourself the way you should be loving yourself. When you're healing this trauma phase, trauma cannot have a stronghold on you no more. So the choice is yours. Will you allow yourself to feel hurt by lust every day? Will you submit to your desires or your urges? Or will you stand up and say, you know what? I am tired of wasting my seed on men and women that don't care about me. I am tired of laying up with people who do not care about themselves as well. I'm tired of the gossip, the drama. I'm tired of being hurt. I am tired of laying with people who are hurting themselves when I'm not there. So what will you do when trauma is approaching you right in front of your face? When you get violated, when you get assaulted, will you allow yourself to feel assaulted, or will you heal yourself and will you say, it's all part of the dream? So what will you experience day in and day out when lust says, hey, will you let me in? I'm horny. What you gonna do? Will you submit or will you dominate lust? Have a great day, God and Goddess.